Oh, baby, the timing. You see, guys? You think it's a win with the battery? I would have had a chance, yeah. I would have had a chance. Prediction is still open for a few more minutes. Reynor versus her0, a best of 7 lower bracket final. We have been watching this tournament for 2.5 weeks, absolutely non-stop. I also covered every single qualifier of this tournament. We stayed up till 5, 6, 7 a.m. for some of those. And it all comes down to this. This is our top 3. It's been a crazy month of January, but it's been a fantastic start to the year. Thank you guys for being with me on this journey. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
Bottom right side, it was BASILISK Reynor. Top left side, the last remaining Protoss in this tournament. It is Dragon KaiZi Gaming's her0. The man is on the run. 8 wins and 2 losses in his last 10 PVZs. Against some of the very best Zergs in the world. But he's going up against the very best of them right now. Solar is great, Dark is perhaps even better. But I think a Reynor in shape is a whole nother level. And Reynor has been in shape. He may not be peak Reynor yet. It may not be Game as 8 Reynor yet from last summer. But he's getting awfully close to it. And anybody that cares about Reynor and is invested in his journey and watches a lot of his games will have noticed the difference between the Reynor that we have seen over the last few days and the Reynor that we saw like in December and early January. Don't forget that there was the ESL Winter Championships not too long ago, and Reynor was eliminated on this Saturday in the round of 24. Now in his defense, he was sick leading up to that tournament. He could not practice. He had to postpone his flight twice. So obviously the conditions weren't really there, but even if Reynor was not sick and he would have been healthy, he would not have gone all that far. Like maybe still a top 8, because even a bad Reynor is a great Reynor. But right now we are not watching a bad Reynor. I think it's going to be a great series. I'm picking Reynor, but her0 has made me look silly once or twice before. Can he do it again? We are about to find out. Fun start to our best of 7. As maybe her0 is trying to make Reynor a tiny bit paranoid as he warped in a pylon behind the hatch. And he's like, hey man, I'm cannon rushing. And Reynor's like, are you? Reynor pulled a couple of drones. Wanted to make sure he could not see... or he would be able to prevent a cannon from being warped in, a second pylon from going up. And in the end, her0 just cancels it and says, haha, got you. And Reynor's like, alright mate, you spend some resources, I spend some resources, it's okay. You missed which server? Well, it should be the same as it always is, as we have a Twilight Council being warped in here, guys, in the main base of her0. So her0 is probably going to open up, I want to say, with a Dark Shrine and a robotics facility. Based on what I see in his main, I'm going to say that this is a Archon drop opening, or maybe first DTs. It can of course still just be resonating glaives as well, but actually it looks a little bit more like a Dark Shrine and a Robo than it looks like glaives. There comes our Robo, and 3, 2, 1. Is it time? It's not time, it's just glaives. Okay, now he pulled probes out of the gas. He didn't do it earlier, but now he does it. So we're not going to open up with a Dark Shrine, we're going to open up with Resonating Glaive Adepts. That's the first 2 Adepts in the main. Don't really find a whole lot. Great defense so far by Reynor. These Adepts not even getting close to the drones that are so important in the early game. her0 is so capable of opening up like this and then following it up in many different ways. He can stay on 2 bases forever and just hit you with an Immortal Sentry Adept follow-up. He could even do something as crazy as randomly dropping 2 Stargates. The moment you make a bunch of roaches, suddenly he'll go double Stargate Phoenix. He is capable of just going up to 3 bases and taking the game from there. Many different ways that he can play this. And that is why it's so difficult for a lot of Zergs to go up against her0. Because it's not like, oh, I see this, and now I know what he's going to do. No. You see something, but you have no idea what he's going to do afterwards. Shout out to Satrax HS. I appreciate it, mate. Welcome. The Reynor's Overlord will get picked off by this one Stalker. That's going to keep the main safe, as Reynor is going to get a couple of Spore Cross as well, as he is a tiny bit concerned. Link speed is not here. We're going to have to rely on the Roaches and Queens. Now the good news is that Roaches and Queens are pretty good. I don't know about 3 Queens on the other side of the wall, but hey, maybe it's a play. Reynor at this point is basically making life easy and says, what I want to do is keep my main safe, I want to keep my natural safe. Now the third base will not die quickly against Adepts, but you also cannot ignore 6 or 7 Adepts forever. This is where Reynor could really use a couple of those Roaches. As the first drones will fall, some Adepts have now made it into the back of the natural. This is going to get chaos, or very chaotic. And this is that Hero chaos as he guns down an Evolution Chamber as well. Hero is honestly starting to do pretty good here, guys. That is 8 drones already, and he's nowhere near done yet. Reynor decided to defend this without circling speed. Go straight into Roaches, try to focus on the main, try to focus on the natural. And Hero has done a very good job in sneaking that Prism into the main early, showing up before the Roaches were out. And Reynor is off to a very bad start in this best of 7. 15 drones. This hatch is actually in danger of dying. There is a very good chance that these Adepts could go for the hatch. They will go for the hatch, and I think that hatchery is going to die. Oh my goodness! But obviously, you can still get it later. 22 HP left on that hatchery. Oh no, Hero, don't throw! Hero! Oh my god, what the hell is happening over here? So, Hero does finish off the hatch in the end, and is still in a really good spot. But losing the War Prism with 4 Adepts inside of it, that's not that great. I still like it for Hero, despite the fact that the man just lost the War Prism with 4 Adepts. And that's not something we say very often, right? If somebody loses a Prism with 4 Adepts, we're like, oh no, it's a disaster. No, this is not a disaster. I think Hero is still in a very good spot. But maybe Reynor has found a tiny lifeline in this game. Von Rufu says that it's still playable for Hero, or for Reynor. He's my boy. I'd love to agree with you, but Reynor is down 9 workers, is a 2 base Zerg, and he's about to go up against a Speed Prism and 2 Disruptors. I would not say that this is very playable, but obviously Reynor is a bit of the comeback king, so he is going to try, but it feels inevitable that these Disruptors and that Speed Prism are going to deal a lot of damage. Now maybe if Hero decides to lose another War Prism with 2 Disruptors inside of it, then I agree with you, but I have the feeling that that was a one-off, my friend. Alright, we're gonna fire not 1 but 2 Novas. Great splits by Reynor, sick. Oh my goodness, that went so well. So he gets all the Adepts, barely loses anything against the first 2 Novas, and only loses 5 drones there. That was really good, and he's still in trouble. Splits were amazing, but he's still in trouble. The blink is like 85% done. We are going to fire a couple of Novas in the center of the map. 97 supply against 97 supply is obviously something that every Protoss player will be incredibly happy with. We saw Roaches on Solaris against Dark attacking into Blink Stalkers on the other side of the map. They didn't do anything. These Roaches, they won't do anything either. The start was just crazy good for Hero. Crazy freaking good. As he is now making progress with Blink Stalkers, and I mean, we've got 4 Disruptors and Blink Stalkers. I don't know if there is an observer here. It would have been lovely for Hero to have an observer with this move out, so I can just push back the creep. Hero is the kind of guy that does not really care. Reynor is going to be supply block after losing that Overlord. He's going to try to set up a flank, but he's going to need the engagement of a lifetime here. The first Nova is already finding a really good connection. Hero is going to spot those Roaches coming from the top side. He could blink forward and get on top of those Roaches. I feel like that would have been a perfectly fine play. He does not want to do that. He's just enjoying life. Has an observer in the mix now, so he is able to see those Cryptomers. Will blink forward here to snipe a Queen. He's going to use the Disruptors to force the Zerg army back. Reynor is going for a counterattack. And in a weird way, I don't hate it, because desperate times call for desperate measures. We saw Dark being in all sorts of trouble. And yeah, that's actually going to force out a recall, so that's very nice. Reynor buys a bit of time for himself. And now maybe he's able to snipe a Disruptor or 2 here as well. Actually, great counterattack by Reynor, man. Incredibly smart, realizing that flanking with those roaches was not going to be good enough. Hero has just F2'd his army to the other side of the map. So he recalled, but he's losing 14 probes. Oh. Yes, he does fire a Nova though, and that's a pretty good first connection. The second one completely whiffs. It kind of feels that Hero is doing everything within his power to lose this game. And he's like, I'm really trying over here. Like, how many more mistakes can I make before you guys can talk about the most magical comeback? And Reynor's like, well, I think I'm still going to need a few more, mate, but we are on the right track. A Ling run by. Yep, the doors are open because it's Hero and he does not believe in keeping the doors closed. So he's about to lose a bunch of extra work. And this is unbelievable, guys. What on earth is happening? And now Hero just says, alright, F it. I am done. I'm going to try to end this game with this army. This would be the Omega throw of the tournament so far. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, Maru messed up a little bit against Dark in that game 7. But, or well, messed up quite a bit. This is wild. Hero is now down to 38 probes. What a start to our lower bracket final between Hero and Reynor, a best of 7. And at this point, I have no idea where this game is going to go anymore. Because it is just impossible to make any solid predictions when it comes to Hero. He's down 10 workers now. Reynor is trying to go up to 4 bases. Still has very little. What, 60 drones? Plus 1 melee finishing up. Like, he's got a chance. I guess this is the best that the game has looked in the last 6 minutes for Reynor. And I still don't think that he would ever love this spot. Yeah, with everything that has taken place in the last 2-3 minutes, you can blame him for trying. Swarmgate says Hero still can't lose this. But how confident are you after watching the last 2 minutes? I agree that normally this looks really good for the Protoss, but after everything that I've seen in the last 2 minutes, and don't forget about that Dwarf Prism at minute 6, I'm gonna stop myself from making any bold calls like that and say that it's impossible. It looked impossible for a while, but Hero has really done a lot of things to give Reynor a tiny bit of a chance in this game. Reynor is still just a lair tech Zerg that doesn't have a lot of creep and doesn't have a good answer for many robot units, as oh, that Nova had potential but does not go all the way. So obviously we're still looking at a potentially very powerful Protoss army. Even if it's only of 3 bases, it's going to be a big Protoss army, it's going to be a powerful Protoss army. It's so difficult for Reynor to get a lot of magic done with the lair tech units he's working with. Yeah, that is correct, Dutes. I agree with you. If you open a stream right now, you're like, ah, Hero's in a good spot in this first game, right? But you have no idea how we got here. War Prism is looking for a couple of Purification Novas. The first one is going to connect with a few Banes. It's still something, right? As Reynor says, alright, this is my moment for +2 Banelings to shine. But +2 Banelings don't one-shot workers anymore. Reynor still got 7, but that was kind of expensive, obviously. Don't hate that for Hero, guys. I think if you lose 7 probes, but that many Banelings got used, and you kill a couple of Zerglings as well, I think you're going to be happy with that. This is a pretty scary Protoss army. A crazy amount of Stalkers. We've got Disruptors. The Disruptor is going to fire and actually connect with 4 Banelings. There is a Colossus in the mix as well to deal with these Lings. A 14-minute game where Hero says, alright, this is it. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to end it. The Banelings do kind of make it through the cracks. It kind of feels that we are looking at too many lasers, baby. Where is Skrillex when you need him? Destroy him with lasers. And after 14 minutes, Hero's like, yeah. Nice game, right, guys? I'm like, ah! The man wins after an absolutely fantastic start. But then, I don't know what happened. For 3 minutes, Hero decided to stop being Hero. Or maybe he just went full Hero. Lord knows. What we do know is that he takes the 1-0 lead. Flawless performance, guys. I mean, he obviously did great in getting himself in that position. Reynor decided to defend with roaches, no circling speed, and said, I'm just going to worry about the main and the natural. And Hero said, well, that's fine. I've got a War Prism. So he flies the Prism into the main, gets a couple of Adepts there, and then obviously the Adepts put a lot of pressure on the third base. And Reynor didn't have to worry about losing any drones there, but you do always have to worry about losing the hatchery. So Hero pretty much had the game in the bag. Then he decided to lose the Prism with 4 Adepts. Then he decided to recall half of his army to deal with a roach counterattack. But right when he recalled, he just moved the units away again. And then he left the doors open for another Ling run by. And that's where it got somewhat exciting, but in the end he was far enough ahead. You gotta love it, guys. In the bottom right side, we are looking at the main base of the Italian Stallion, who would love to have another crack at his teammate. It is a Reynor, who's down 0-1 against this man. The smiling assassin. The Protoss that we all love and sometimes makes us feel bad about ourselves at the same time. It is Dragon KaiZi Gaming's hero in the top left side of Golden Aura. 9-2 right now in his last 11 matches against Zerg. A 4-0 over Solar, a 4-2 victory over Dark, and he has taken the 1-0 lead over Reynor. It is indeed a monstrous run, absolutely. And don't forget that he also took out Max Pax in the quarterfinals of the upper bracket. A very close series. That one went to distance as well. Well, it's not a 4-0 at least, right? If Hero 4-0 is Reynor, I am willing to do something silly. And you guys can tell me what that should be. Because the way that I see StarCraft and the way that I experience StarCraft, I feel like there is an 0.2% chance of Hero 4-0ing Reynor. 10 free subbies. I obviously don't mind doing that, but I have to check my PayPal balance. It is very low. But I think I can do that. A hot tub, Roddy. If you guys are willing to donate a couple thousand buckies, yeah, I'll gladly get a jacuzzi in my backyard and I'll stream from a hot tub. We'll play some ladder games or some F1 or some poker from the hot tub. Sounds like a good time, baby. Roddy gets a Psy Storm tattoo. Why Psy Storm? Oh, you mean like Storm as in the High Templar Storm? Don't know if we can make that look that cool, and don't know if I want to promise any tattoos. I already have one promise of a tattoo standing out there. And obviously it will lose value if I make promise after promise about tattoos and I don't want to cover my body with random stuff. I think one tattoo promise at a time is enough. Yeah. F1 from the top sounds like a fantastic time to me. 10 subs we can do, and we could eventually, maybe, potentially get a jacuzzi. You guys are absolutely gonna have to get the jacuzzi here, because I don't have jacuzzi money. I just don't see that, guys. But let's just enjoy the series for now. I don't believe in a 4-0. But Hero clearly is playing incredibly good StarCraft, like 95% of the time. And then 5% of the time, he just wants to be like you and me on the ladder. And that's okay too. No friend? I don't have any friends with a jacuzzi, mate. I mean, maybe I do have internet friends with a jacuzzi. Like, I would say I'm friends with Elky. I'm sure he's got a jacuzzi somewhere. I'm friends with Lex. I don't know if Lex has a jacuzzi, but not that close that I will knock on the door and be like, hey man, here I am. Can I do a stream? And the friends that live around me, they definitely don't have any jacuzzis. Take has one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's correct. I'm friends with Take. And Take has a jacuzzi in his backyard. Elky probably has a jacuzzi in a jacuzzi. Elky probably lives in Jacuzzi Town, mate, where we don't have houses, only jacuzzis. Yeah. Yeah, no, Take would obviously do it. Take would join himself, mate. Dennis does not care. Stark is stepping on the high ground. If there was that bug again with the pillar, we have already covered that like 3 or 4 times in this tournament. It doesn't change anything with the vision, but there are some pillars that will make units bug out. This has been around for a very long time. I think even Overgrowth had one of those pillars. either Overgrowth or a map that had the same tileset as Overgrowth. Where sometimes a Marine or a Zealot or a Stalker, like it bumps up, but it doesn't change anything. It's just a tiny bit silly. No hot tub, maybe at least a bikini try-on. I mean, I actually have a picture of me wearing a bra. For some reason I took that in 2006, but I was wearing a shirt as well, so it's not very sexy. I don't know what went on there. I went through some very old pics recently, because I transferred all my pictures from a hard drive. And there I was with bleached hair, and I had a bra, and I was like, what am I doing? But it was just for the memes. I was just having some fun. We have triple Oracle and a bunch of Adepts. Reynor does feel pretty ready to meet. I love the queen positioning. Couple of queens on the left, couple of queens on the right. A safety queen in the center. Very clean defense so far by Reynor, guys. I can show it to you guys. It's not a weird picture or anything. As these Adepts do shade in, after this game I'll gladly show it to you. Little Ruddy. 4 drones have fallen. Make it 5 and maybe 6. Triple stasis trap. Now that's a play. Alright, I'm not totally certain what the play is, but maybe it's just a distraction maneuver for these Adepts to find a little more. And it's honestly starting to add up right now. 11 is pretty serious, as her0 has now dropped a Stargate and another fleet beacon. So it's a lot of Adepts dying, a lot of Oracle energy being used. 12 drones end up falling, but Reynor is incredibly quick in general to re-drone. Obviously as one of the very best Zergs to ever play this game. He will know when he can drone and when he cannot drone. He also knows that if a Protoss throws away that many units, it is fine. I don't think it's a total disaster for Reynor. I do think it is very important that he figures out what the hell her0 is doing. And if you ask me, Roddy, what is he doing? I'm honestly not even totally sure. I see Zealots, Gateways, Charge, +1, 2 Stargates and a Fleet Beacon, a Robo. We're building carriers? Cool. So we're gonna build carriers, while also building Zealots with +1. Maybe some Archons down the line. When will Reynor figure this out? That is the big question right now. Reynor's droning, he's dropping an infestation pit. 7 minutes into the game, still very quick. You guys see how quickly Reynor recovers, by the way, from economic damage? That is an adventurous War Prism movement. her0 not super sharp there. Pretty much TTARTX. I feel like the game plan here is for her0 to just hide these carriers to the very best of his abilities and hope that Reynor has no idea that it's happening. And then if he can solidly show off at like 6 carriers, Zealots and Archons, and Reynor has no Corruptus or no crazy amount of Hydras and Vipers, and I don't think that Reynor would want Hydras here. Reynor is obviously a strong believer in Corruptus. This is, I guess, one of the most classic RTS tactics in the book. I am showing a ground army, but I'm actually going for an air army. And I hope that my opponent has no anti-air. And if it works, her0 is a god. It is so important that he hides it, but Reynor is going to drop his fire, by the way. Reynor knows what kind of a Protoss her0 is, and that her0 is the in-your-face kind of Protoss. And it's wave after wave of Adepts, Zealots, Oracles, maybe Blink Stalkers on the edge of creep. And if all of a sudden nothing happens for 2 minutes, as those carriers, by the way, were now officially revealed by attacking a Zergling, I think Reynor will always drop that Spire. As Oracle, I want to see the Oracles battle at the hatchery, by the way, because the hatchery is almost done. Queens could maybe save it. No, there's no creep there, so Queens cannot save it. Queens would need to step on creep before they can use Transfuse. Do you remember the last her0 game versus Reynor before going to the army? No. I do not. I remember a lot of games, but that is not very specific. You're just telling me that it was a game that happened many years ago and he made carriers instead of Tempest? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what was the official last game of her0 before he went to the army like 3 years ago. Foxer? Foxer is an American Terran player. Well, both players is going for the all-out macro, and I do think that is going to favor Reynor. Reynor is incredibly confident. I think in any ZVP game that goes past minute 10. Not invincible in these games though. We saw Hearthstone get the best of Reynor a few times. We saw Showtime get the best of Reynor a few times. Because Reynor can definitely sometimes be a bit too aggressive for his own good. Where he's like, I've got money in the bank. I'm just gonna send it, baby. Ultras, Links, Banes. But attacking into carriers, batteries, cannons, stasis trappies, it's not always easy. Ultras can become very derpy units if they don't have the right room to fight. I was there, Gunjama. I was so proud of you, man. I will never forget it. As Reynor is splitting up a couple of roaches and also tries to make magic happen with the damn Zerglings on the top side of the map. Gets one or two of the static defenses of Hero, but that's about it. Spire is working on +1 flyer weapons, and he's getting a second Spire as well. So Reynor can get double upgrades. Hero is gonna have a nice little lead with the carriers, and you guys were talking about that one stay-at-home story cup. No, was stay-at-home story cup, right? Yeah. Where Stats actually got the best of Serral by just attacking with a bunch of carriers with +2. And he just decided to send it. Hero does strike me as the guy that will start attacking if he feels that it is time to start attacking. If we have enough cannons and batteries at home, I think he knows how important an upgrade lead is on these air units. Yep, it was number 3. That's correct, Ian. Because Serral won like 4 regular home story cups in a row. Then COVID hit and nobody could travel. So we did stay at home story cup. Serral wins the first. Serral wins the second. But then finally, Stats showed us that you don't have to sit back forever. And if you are 2 upgrades ahead, you can actually attack. And Stats did defeat Serral. And I was accused of being Protoss biased, guys. Because I was happy to see a Protoss win. You know, after Zerg won 6 home story cups in a row, I was hyped for the Protoss to win. And they were like, man, Roddy's so annoying. He's Protoss biased. And I'm like, what? I thought I was going to be Serral biased, if anything. That was a great conversation I had back then. It doesn't really matter who's playing. There will always be some bias. Oracles get on creep, drop a revelation. The fungal miss. Hero felt really bad there for Reynor that he couldn't quite get that Oracle, so he's like, here you go, sir, have it. You are Protoss though, so you must love seeing Protoss play? Of course, and I've never said otherwise. But that's of course not the same as being hyped for Stats when he wins the tournament after the same Zerg won that tournament 6 times in a row. That's like how I'm hyped for Ryong if he beats Clem, because in my mind Clem is just a lot better. So if Ryong steps up to the plate and he gets a big victory, like I'm way better friends with Clem than I am with Ryong, but of course I'm gonna be mega hyped for Ryong, because I think that's fucking awesome. Hero is gonna go for it, guys. Reynor is going to use the Infestor ability, baby. Microbial Shroud, gonna try to keep these queens alive for a little while. These queens are not alive for all that long. The Ultras and Roaches are doing its thing, but we need some Corruptus. And with some Corruptus, I mean, we need a lot of Corruptus. Hero is making progress, but the Interceptor count is dwindling. There are some Broodlords still alive, and Reynor is about to show up with like 25 Corruptus, and then it all comes down to the Archon positioning. Reynor is taking the fight a little bit early there, before most of his Corruptus have shown up. It may look promising for Hero, but I don't think he's anywhere near there yet. Because Reynor had a lot of supply that didn't really come into play. Still has Spore Crawlers chipping away at those Interceptors. And that Corruptor count is about to go from 5 to like 25. At least Hero is going to get +1 air armor as well. +3 is close to finishing up, by the way. I mean, not bad by Hero. Gotta give it to him. Definitely not bad. I actually think it is somewhat wise that he retreated there for a bit, as now the Oracles are trying to figure out how much does Reynor have. This is where Reynor is looking for abducts and Hero is looking for feedbacks. Reynor did take out a base, but obviously lost some units and lost a lot of drones as well. Lost a lot of his queens. +3 air weapons is done. This is big. This is, I think, the scariest phase of the game for Reynor. If Reynor can survive for another 2 minutes, I think he wins this game. But is he going to be able to clean this up? Here we go. Mothership gets abducted and dies immediately. A storm has gone down on these Corruptors. It is so important for Reynor that the Corruptors are not clumped up against those storms and not against those Archon hits. One of the Vipers got feedback, by the way. Reynor does not want to lose another base, so he's going to go for it. A crazy amount of Corruptors are going to try to get on top of +3 carriers. And some carriers are dying, but not all the carriers are dying. Upgrades, baby. Protoss upgrades are so freaking important. And I think this was a perfect example of it. The Corruptor count was high, but the Stalkers, the Archons, the carriers will reign supreme. And I don't think Reynor is going to live another 2 minutes. 4 base hero has decided to absolutely send it. The Corruptors had +1 attack, +1 armor. These carriers have +3 attack and +1 armor. That is just a difficult fight. Reynor is going to try one more time to get some extra ultras out, to get some lings out. But I don't know how you get on top of this army. Alright, Reynor is going to go for it right before most of those extra Archons are ready. We have some Stalkers though. And the Corruptors are just not really here yet. They are not here in high enough numbers. I don't think this was the fight. Especially not without any Corruptors. Maybe if the Corruptors are here, then those Ultras could have made the difference on the ground. Man, those Ultras are insane. They're still going. Yeah, the carriers are eventually going to kill them. It takes a long time, but eventually he will kill them. Oh, that's a sick abduct, by the way. So maybe the tiny Corruptor count can get one carrier. It is one carrier that falls. Reynor is going to evacuate the gold. Man, if Reynor wins this game, I will be so freaking impressed. And he did obviously take out that 5th base of hero, but I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it's possible? 4 base Reynor, trying to save as many drones as he can. Lings and Ultras are going to counterattack one more time. Another Infestor gets fired up. I don't think he's got Neuroparasite though, right? Another abduct. That one Viper, guys, has now abducted successfully 2 carriers. And that's when the Corruptors can maybe do their thing. It's still going to be so difficult, but you kind of believe at one point. We saw how good those Ultras are. Maybe the Corruptors can snipe the War Prism as well, guys. That would be big. Unfortunately, he's not going to get it before more Zealots, more Archons get warped in. It's a 17-minute game. Hero has a very exposed 5th base now. He does not want to go home. A couple Banelings would be so sick, by the way, guys, against all these Zealots. There goes that War Prism. No more immediate reinforcements. Reynor is dancing and buying time. I think a couple Banes would be absolutely fantastic against all those Zealots as Hero forgets about a carrier. And it is very low on HP. It does live. Hero. Reynor fires up 4 more Broodlords. That's insane against this army. Broodlords are incredibly good against this army because only 2 carriers remain. Archons can't blink. The Stalkers are in very low numbers. That Spore Crawler is close to killing. That Infestor, by the way, is going to land a little fungal. If Reynor 4 Broodlords are so close to finishing up. The Corruptors are coming in. Please kill the low HP carrier. Reynor, you could have killed it a while ago. He is going to kill it. The Stalkers blink forward. What a fight. It all comes down to this. 3 Broodlords survive, and it's only Archons and it's only Immortals left. Reynor with the Ultras, with the Lings, with the Broodlords. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And he has been able to hang in there after losing that bottom base, losing that bottom left side base as well. He's now going to find this base. Hero is going to recall and it's going to make... Oh, careful with your War Prism, Hero. Does unload the units. Here are these Lings, by the way, guys. And these Lings are feisty. They're going to do that thing. They've got +3 melee. They're going to get the Immortal. They're going to get the Archon. They're going to get a lot of the probes as well. He's done it. Unbelievable. Wow, what a win. What a win. Insanely sick victory by Reynor, guys. Cannot emphasize enough on how crazy I think that it is that he was able to clutch this one out. Corrupt is now in the main, and we'll see that the Stargates are not doing anything. And he's just gonna get a few more Infestors so we can make some Links. Maybe we can make a few more Ultras. +3 melee Zerglings with Adrenal Glands. Wow. Insane sick. Insanely sick. Insanely cool game. I'm stunned. Standing ovation for Reynor, that is. Such an impressive win. Assuming he is going to close it out from here on out. Unreal. I mean, her0 was obviously a little bit hesitant. And he was kind of derping a little bit in the bottom. And he gave Reynor some time. And that one low HP Viper will forever be remembered as a hero. Because that one Viper landed the abduct in the bottom left. And landed another abduct. And the carrier count went from 5 to 3. And that obviously changed a lot. Insanely sick. her0 is gonna try to get up to 5 bases one more time. Says, alright, if Reynor can have a magical comeback, maybe I can have one as well. But Reynor says, baby, not on my watch. As he lands a couple of fungals. Some of the stalkers go down. Fungal obviously not as sick as it once upon a time was. her0 is doing his best Roddy tribute over here with some solid long distance mining. Don't we all love some long distance mining? Reynor's got 98 army supply. her0 has a 40. A Fungo is going to land. Lings and Ultras are going to get on top of this Protoss army. The Nexus is not done yet. If the Nexus is not done, you can't use battery overcharge. After a 21-minute banger, we are all tied up. As her0 obviously knows that this one is all over. Reynor is smiling because he knows he did some magical stuff there, baby. Yeah, sick, Reynor. Sick. Well done, mate. Very, very, very well done. Unbelievable win. Unbelievable win. Let's go back in time, guys, for a little bit. Let's go back in time. Let's go back to minute 14. So we have this fight. We have this push a little bit further. This is the crazy fight where every single corrupted dies. The carriers reign supreme. The ultras are dying. And sure, her0's down a little bit in supply, but that's obviously when he's going to start warping in some units. He's going to get on top of this base, and at this point, Reynor just doesn't really have the money to get that many corruptors out. You look at this army, he's going to try one more time with a couple of ultras, and they did live for a long time. They're like, alright, the carriers are still going strong. And we are trying to spend our money. her0 has money in the bank. But this one Viper, it lands the abduct. It's like, alright, from 4 carriers we go to 3. Reynor is forced to evacuate the gold. And it just kind of buys time. Lands another sick abduct. Tiny counterattack, making it hard for her0. And like at this point, Reynor is down 27 supply. And he lost the base at the bottom. He lost the base in the bottom left. Obviously love the supplies in Zealots, but crazy victory. Very well done. Awesome game. I hope that I actually showed it to you guys. I was so focused on it that I just realized the camera was on my face. But I hope I did show you guys that game. I'm gonna take a tiny break, guys. I need a second to recover from that one. Awesome victory by Reynor. Fantastic video game between her0 and Reynor. Kudos to her0 though for getting that army out, making that push to the other side of the map, getting the upgrade lead, and taking some fantastic fights. I loved it. Massive kudos to both parties. Take a tiny break. See you guys real soon. Game 3, lower bracket finals coming up. What a victory. The kid. The comeback kid, baby. Seems that both of the nerds need a little break after that banger on Golden Aura as well. But we have the sound that the nerds are almost ready to video game. The cameras were temporarily disconnected, but they are back. Seems that Reynor is ready for game 3. her0 is ready for game 3. Fun. Super fun start to this best of 7. Do you think Serral would coach Reynor in between games or point at some mistakes, even though he then has to face Reynor? That's a good question, because obviously they are teammates and they are good friends. But I don't think they really do that, to be completely honest. I do believe that maybe there are moments where Reynor will reach out to Serral, or Serral will reach out to Reynor and be like, hey, what do you think is good? What do you like? But I don't think that happens in the middle of the series. I think in the middle of the series, I mean, this guy is one of the most accomplished Zergs of all time. I think he will believe in his own skills. I think he will believe in his own knowledge. And I think it's all about just staying focused. And I don't think he is looking for outside help. But I can't say that for certain. That is just what I think. But maybe we can ask him. If he wins the series, I'm sure that he will stop by in the chat. And we can even do a little interview with him, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe Harston will do a bit of an interview. And then we can figure it out. Round 3, guys. But I would be surprised if that's happening today. I personally don't think that's happening.
Round 3. Fight.
Top right side of Hecate. We are looking at the best performing Protoss in this tournament, and he's honestly starting to make a case for us calling him the best Zerg on the planet, even though we best Protoss on the planet. Even though we've been calling Max Packs the best Protoss on the planet for quite some time, but her0 has looked damn good in this edition of the Masters Coliseum. An amazing run, representing Dragon KaiZi Gaming, the smiling assassin, the crown prince of IEM a long time ago. And in the bottom left side, obviously, the Gamers A champ, the Katowice champ of the year 2021, and the man who made it to the grand finals of Katowice and BlizzCon in 2019 and 2022. 2019 was BlizzCon, 2022 was Katowice. It is BASILISK Reynor. How many languages can you speak? I would say only 2. I speak a bit of German and I understand it, but it's really not very good. It also truly depends what I'm talking about. Like, I can talk about StarCraft to some degree, auf Deutsch, but if you ask me to have a conversation about politics or the climate in German, I would have no clue where to start. Ich habe wirklich keine Ahnung. Nur Kindersprache, bitte. So, just 2. I thought you knew Swedish. Ja, ik praat lite svenska. Kevin kan allt en vet allt. Vill du ha lite kul med mig? That's about it, mate. That's all I got. Compared to Swedish, my German is good. But that says a whole lot more about my Swedish than my German, mate. I like how your pitch goes up in Swedish. It's because I think Swedish is a very pleasant language. Like, we have spoken a few times about languages that are not very pleasant to listen to, and that's obviously an opinion, right? It's not a fact, but I've said a few times that I think Vietnamese is pretty hard to listen to. Thai does not sound very pleasant. I think Korean sounds cool. Mandarin is okay-ish, but I think Thai and Vietnamese are very rough to listen to. So is German, if they get angry, and they're pretty much always angry. But I really love how Swedish sounds. People just seem so happy. It's almost like they're singing. So then I try to replicate that. Not sure how to take that, Snigomanon. I think I know where you're going with that, mate, but let's not do that. Let's keep it at StarCraft if you can. Yeah, I like Japanese as well. I also think Spanish sounds very nice. Anyway, enough about languages, guys. Let's focus a little on Game 3 between Reynor and her0. As her0 said, I had an absolutely fantastic start in Game 1 with a bunch of adepts with resonating glaives and a war prism. This time around, he's going to follow it up with a Dark Shrine as well. It is going to take a little while before the Dark Shrine is done, and if we go back to Heartland, Reynor did build Spore Crawlers, even though there was no Dark Shrine. And we now already see the first Spore on the production tab. There was a day and age that we would say, to get ready for this, you need 3 Spore Crawlers. You need a Spore in every base. That is technically correct. But obviously, as long as you have 1 Spore and you can keep that Spore alive, you can move the Spore to different bases, and you can buy some time with 1 Spore for other Spore Crawlers to finish up. So don't think that her0 is immediately going to win if Reynor only has 1 Spore, as he's gonna let this Adept Shade finish up. But there are links here, there are roaches, and a War Prism is gonna fly into the main. The multitasking of her0 is letting him down here. He loses 2 Adepts inside of that Prism, and the bigger problem is now he cannot get any value of the Dark Templar follow-up, as obviously once we lose our Prism, we can only warp in DTs at home. So a perfect defense by Reynor, if you ask me. I really don't think he could have done a whole lot better. And that War Prism, guys, it got
Smackdown.
Imagine if the Prism is not that, and there are 2 DTs right now swiping away at that hatch. And I mentioned in that previous game that what makes her0, what makes him such a good and terrifying Protoss player to go up against, is that he's got a crazy amount of follow-ups. And look at this follow-up, baby. Double Stargate. A double Stargate follow-up. And then Reynor is probably going to smile a little bit by the time he figures that out. So we got Phoenix DT. I have been waiting all these years. This is me, baby. Spore DTs are gonna try to get on top of this hatch, but there is a Spore crawling now, and one Dark Templar dies. Reynor is going to morph multiple Overseers to be very safe. A Resonating Glaive Adept opening with a Dark Shrine and double Stargate Phoenix as a follow-up. I don't want to say I like it, but you know. That's very cool, guys. I love it. Reynor has a scout. The Overseer has already made it into the main base, and he probably has a little deja vu. He's like, what the fuck? Am I playing against Roddy over here? Hero's gonna switch things up. It got scouted rather early, and he now makes Void Race. Don't know how I feel about that, to be completely honest. I actually think that is not necessarily a very good decision. Because Phoenixes are good in high numbers, but Phoenixes don't work very well together with Voids. Phoenixes obviously gather up energy, they are quick. Void Rays are a bit slow unless you get Flux Veins. But even if you get Flux Veins, like multiple Phoenix just do a lot better than a mix between Phoenix and Void Rays. So I don't know what he's gonna do now. After these two Voids. He's gonna make more Voids. Hero is a gamer. So double Stargate. Makes two Phoenixes, it gets scouted, and he says, I don't believe in Phoenix. And like some people may think like, yeah, but that's because Reynor is gonna build Hydras, but I don't think it's a very hot take when I tell you guys that Phoenixes are better against Hydras than Void Rays are. Void Rays just suck. I can't really think of many scenarios where I'm like, man, I like Void Rays here. Even against Corruptus, Void Rays just don't really have a lot of micro potential, and Corruptus do. Phoenix have a crazy amount of potential. Void Rays are this kind of lame. I feel that Mass Roach Hydra should absolutely kill Hero, but what is important to keep in mind is that Reynor is making a lot of Roaches, Hydras and Queens of 68 runs. Now if he runs to the other side of the map and he wins with it, obviously no biggie. If he does not win with it, it is a biggie. The moment that the Stargate is done, excuse me, the Fleet Beacon is done, I think the one unit that Hero should make are Tempest here. Tempest are incredibly good defensive units if you have a way to buy time, if you have cannons and batteries, and you don't have to worry about Vipers. As we are losing an Archon now, we're losing a Void Ray. I mean, I can talk about Tempest all I want, but I don't think even Tempest are going to save Hero here. I'm not sure what that was, but he's now also still building more Voids, but Voids just suck, man. The cybernetic score is going to get picked off right before +1 air weapons are going to kick in as well. So no +1 air weapons for you. And we're going to see Void Rays try to battle Hydras. But okay, this is kind of cool. Hero does have a big counterattack, but I don't think Reynor gives a damn. Reynor says, alright mate, you go ahead and kill a couple of drones. I'm going to go ahead and kill your entire freaking natural. No, the Overseers! No, the Overseers! He loses both Overseers. Now DTs can get warped in. And I really hope that Reynor has a backup Overseer or two. Otherwise, this could still get a bit weird. Now, it's going to take a long time before 2 or 3 DTs kill this many Roaches and this many Hydras, but you want to be careful. Nice snipe on the Overseer. I'm just afraid that it's a little bit too late. Like, Reynor did great damage there. He killed the Cybercore, denied +1, killed 21 probes, Blackjack. Kill the Nexus. The DTs keep Hero alive for a split second. I don't think it's going to be a lot more than that. I'm kind of sad that he made, as the Phoenix flies over the Hydras, I'm kind of sad that Hero decided to make Void Rays. I wonder if he would have just made a couple of Phoenixes, pick up one Hydra at a time, fly around, buy some extra time for more warp-ins. If there is then a world where he could have killed the Hydras, but Phoenix are just better against Hydras than Void Rays are, man. GG gets called. That did not work out for Hero as Reynor takes the 2-1 lead. I probably thought, am I playing versus Roddy over here? Hero, of course, lost that first War Prism in the main base when he went for the Adepts. If he did not lose that Prism, this could have been a completely different game. Then the Adept stuff will go on for a bit longer. It has more potential. Maybe he can warp in some DTs on the other side of the map, get on top of the third base. But losing that Prism is just too much. A lot of you guys have complimented Hero's multitasking over the last few days. And I think rightfully so, because he has displayed some great multitasking. But here in the beginning, he tried to make it hectic, right? With some Adepts here, a big shade into the natural, and then fly that Prism in the main. But Reynor had a soul read on it. 6 queens were waiting. And he gunned down that Prism. I'm taking a look at my Discord. Sometimes Reynor is in a very good mood and he is memeing in the middle of a series. That is not happening. Take a look at his Discord. Reynor, of course, has a Discord as well, and he's actually pretty active in his own Discord. He will give his die-hard fans a little update sometimes in the middle of a very competitive series. Fans or friends, a little bit of both. 2-1 lead for the man from BASILISK. He is 2 maps away from getting another crack at his teammate. But he knows that he's not there yet. In the bottom left side of Alcyone, we are looking at the main base of BASILISK Reynor. Top right side, the man who lost his War Prism early on. Because otherwise that could have been a fantastic game. I'm sure he's kicking himself for it a little bit. Dragon KaiZi Gaming's hero. Still a great run for him regardless throughout this entire playoffs. But Reynor got the best of him there in the early game. I don't know if it would have saved him, Sybil, but I do think it is a lot better. I think that even if you guys don't always trust me, I hope that you guys do kind of trust me when it comes to Resonating Glaive, Adept, a Dark Shrine, and a Phoenix. Because I think that everyone on this channel will agree that there is not one individual on this planet who has more experience with that build than I have. It's been a solid 6 or 7 or 8 years, but that is my go-to. That's my bread and butter. And I can definitely tell you that Phoenixes are a lot better than Void Rays are there. Would it have saved Hero? That I don't know. We can't ignore the fact that the start was bad. Like, it doesn't really matter what your follow-up is, right? His start was simply not good enough. He lost the War Prism with 2 Adepts inside of it. And by losing the Prism, you let go of all the potential that you have. So I don't know if there's a right thing to do afterwards. What I do know is that Phoenixes are better than Void Rays there. Nina is a close second. I don't know how much Nina has done it in her days. What I can tell you is that Nina plays a lot of Stalker, a lot of Colossus, a lot of Speed Prism drops. I do it like every game, man. Every game that has ever been serious to me that I really want to win, that's how I play. I will play every second or third PvZ with just some Immortals and some Zealots and some Adepts if I'm tired of building Phoenix, which doesn't happen very often, but sometimes my chat is like, is it Phoenix every game? And when they ask me that, then I stop building Phoenix and I do other stuff. I think even Nina will tell you that I've probably done it a lot more than everybody else. And I'm not saying that I've done it at the highest level or that I have execution as good as other people who do it. Absolutely not. But I do have a crazy amount of experience with it. Exactly, Ian Blue and PHM, mate. You know what you did. And let it go. It was a 10-minute timeout. You did not get permabanned. I didn't make fun of you. I didn't insult you. I just gave you 10 minutes. Sometimes you just get 10 minutes. It's like when we go back to elementary school, you know, and you were a bit naughty in the class and the teacher says, into the corner for 10 minutes. And your nose has to be touching the wall and no peeking. That's what I did to you. And now you can let it go. I hope that you learned from it. Was it deserved? Absolutely. Absolutely no peeking. If we're in the corner, we're in the corner, guys. If you turn around, if I even see those neck muscles move, it's another 10 minutes. My mom did that, nose touching wall every time I fought with my brother, and then we had to hug it out. I didn't have my mom do that too much. My mom definitely got angry at me and my brother from time to time when I was young, but can't blame her. Every single time she went to work, she came back, we destroyed another vase because we were playing football in the living room. And she's like, God damn it, how many times did I tell you guys no football in the living room? And I was like, oh, there we went again. Not with hard balls, but with like plushy balls. But obviously, if you kick them hard enough and they connect with a vase that has some flowers in it, they will tip over. That's what kids do, right? I absolutely hate the void opening. It makes me sick. I've never seen this build work. I feel like we saw it work earlier today. One oracle into one void. I'm also not the biggest fan. I really do prefer just a couple of oracles and then a quicker transition into everything else. The void ray is expensive. It takes up a decent amount of supply and it feels rather clumsy. But if Hero likes it, guys, who are we to have that strong of an opinion about it? I guess it is very important to Hero that he can keep Reynor outside of his main, and we can see that it's double forge. So we're not gonna go single forge +1 and make a bunch of zealots. It is a double forge straight into the Blink Stalkers. Reynor is so far building links and has +1 melee on the way, so I think Reynor is happy with this setup, but yeah, the void obviously does keep you safe. If Reynor would make a bunch of roaches early on, send them to the other side of the map, but I don't think Hero is worried about that. That's not something that Reynor does very often. The void can also help if there are a few more links than you expect, so you don't have to worry about oracles running out of energy. But I think the biggest purpose of this void ray is just to keep overlords outside of the main. I think that is the biggest point. When trying to hold all in versus early proxy marauders, what is the best to get from Stargate? A void ray, 100%. There is no question about that. We actually had a game like that yesterday in the Basilisk Big Brain Bouts. Between, was it Heaven or Holden, guys? Just kidding, I know it was Heaven, okay. I didn't know it yesterday, but now I do know. It was Heaven against Musti on Ancient Sistren. You guys can take a look at the VOD if you want. And he actually was in a lot of trouble against the Marauders, but the Void Ray kept him safe. Robo Bay has been warped in as Hero queues up a Warp Prism. Is this live? Everything is always live over on the Roddy stream, mate. I do not cast replays on this channel. Maybe one day I'll cast some replays and I'll upload them to YouTube as one of the Oracles dies. If there are not enough live tournaments to cast. The way that I enjoy StarCraft is when it's live or it has never been shown to anybody else before. I do not ever want to cast games that you guys already know the outcome of. And I may or may not know, but this is not for me. Is this a 7-gate push? I don't know. I find it hard to say that this is a push. We're going up to 4 bases. We've got a Colossus on the way. We're building a lot of Blink Stalkers. There is, of course, a chance that Hero is at a certain point going to absolutely send it. Where he's like, alright, I've got sexy upgrades. I've got a bunch of Blink Stalkers. I've got a Colossus. I've got a Warp Prism. And then he's going to go for it. But so far, at the moment, it just kind of streams all-out macro. But of course, we're not just going to sit back forever. That is not what Hero does. And that's also not what Reynor does. Which is why it's a pleasure to watch these guys duke it out with each other. Yeah, there's a few more things that I could say about that Scare Wyvern 69, but I'm not gonna go there. People should do what makes them happy and what works for them, right? It is not easy. Ooh, nice cancel. That was a very close cancel. Now, Reynor does have a flank with the queens, but we need a little bit more than the queens. We've got links coming in as well. All 3 queens do still end up dying. There's a single Colossus all by itself. There is a Void Ray in the center of the map as well. And that Colossus can get some really good shots up on the links here. And if Reynor... Okay. Heroes is going to recall the Colossus. I was about to say, if Hero or if Reynor wants to go for that Colossus, he needs to make damn certain that he's got a few roaches in the mix as well. Because Lings alone do have a very tough time battling that giraffe. That was pretty messy, pretty scrappy. I think overall it was a Reynor victory. Obviously he lost some queens, lost a couple Lings, had to cancel the gold, but killing that many stalkers that were well upgraded, forcing your opponent to recall, yeah. I would absolutely say that is a Reynor victory. Serral will play tomorrow. Serral is going to play a best of 9 in the grand finals against the winner of this best of 7. Reynor is going to get an Ultralisk Cavern rather quickly as he also fires up at Reynor Glens immediately. +2 melee is about to finish up. Kinda feels to me that Reynor is cooking. But we have seen some games where it's difficult for Reynor to close things out against Protoss players that turtle like crazy. With a lot of cannons and batteries, we'll get Immortals, Archons. But I think 10 minutes into Game 4 of this lower bracket final, Reynor's got to be very happy with where he's at. Yep, I do think that Reynor is playing very well in the series. Obviously he had a rough start and Hero has made 1 or 2 big errors, but I think overall Reynor is just looking good, solid, he's on point. The man is dialed in, as we like to say. He's been very sharp, and it just feels that unlike Dark and Solar, he does have an answer for a lot of the move outs of Hero. Vipers are out as the doors are wide open in typical Hero fashion, and Reynor says, alright, let me go ahead and get on top of it. I don't know if a recall is available or not. We're gonna have Lings, Banelings, everything crashing into the natural. That is minus 20 something workers by the looks of it. We're gonna start off with 16 at the same time. Reynor is going to engage on top of these Stalkers, and there were High Templars there, by the way, guys, with Storm. As Reynor, his Lings will now settle for a Fleet Beacon. Some of them are battling the Stalker, and there is one Zealot that's gonna keep that Fleet Beacon alive. Impressive that it's only 16 probes for now, and I think that's so many High Templars, by the way. Still don't think that Hero is very happy. He's a 75 probe Protoss. It could have all gone a lot worse. But you also feel like this is just the beginning, right? As Reynor is now already dropping double Spire. These Ultras are going to be feisty, strong, tanky. Hero does have an insane amount of Storm available. As one High Templar is going to get picked off by the Zerglings and the Roaches there. There are a few more High Templars in the back, but this just looks like a tiny Protoss army to me. A Blinding Cloud would be sick here, and Reynor says, you want a Blinding Cloud, Roddy? We'll give you a Blinding Cloud. As he's going to get on top of these Archons and the Colossus. One Archon gets abducted as well. These High Templars are just running for the hills. They're like, this is not my fight. We are here to deal with Zerglings, not with Ultras and Roaches. There is another Ling run by. Good defense this time around by Hero. Finally, a couple Storms are going to land on the Roaches and the Ravages. And the Cannon and the Void Ray will keep Hero alive. But he's alive and he's on life support. Reynor has immediately remaxed 5 more Ultras, 30 Zerglings, 6 Banelings, plus 1 Flyer attacks on the way as well. We are now getting ready for the air transition that is not even happening yet. Hero's got no money for that kind of stuff. Those have 81 probes still, building 5 probes at a time, pretty crazy. And one Void should go for the Viper, by the way, that'd be sick. Not the Queen! I wonder if it would have been able to kill the Viper. Void gets abducted and he will die. We've got a couple of Banelings in the mix to soften up all these Zealots. And obviously Zealots already don't have a very good time against +3 melee Zerglings with Adrenal Glands. Battery Overcharge has been activated at the gold. Archon, Stalkers and Immortals are trying to do whatever the hell they can. But Ultras, a lot of you guys say they suck and you only build Ultras if you want to throw. Well, Reynor is pretty good in making those Ultras look pretty damn good and sexy to me. Few more Lings left over in the main. 21 probes die. The gold base is going to fall. And the Immortals will finally make it to the front lines of the battlefield. But it's a day late and $1 short. As our good man Mr. Bitter would say, the timing of these Lings could have gone for the High Templars there. Would have been sick. I don't think it matters. The writing is on the wall. 14 minutes into El Sayani. I think we are moments away from Reynor taking a 3-1 lead in the lower bracket final. And he is getting closer and closer to saying hello to his good friend Yona, who is waiting. Serral at this point is opening up the notepad and is starting to think of some nice EVZ builds to bust out tomorrow in a best of 9, where every single map could potentially get played of this lovely little map pool. Hero lost 2 bases and 54 probes, but he still wants to try. And we won't blame him, but he knows. Looking at the webcam, guys, he knows. It's like one of these moments where he's like, should I stay or should I go? Meanwhile, yeah. Reynor adding insult to injury with a couple of contaminates on that robo, and that is going to be good enough. I think the strongest game from Reynor so far in this lower bracket final. Thank you, Slowly, because I was already thinking of it. To me, he was already enough and annoying 3 messages ago. But see, Slowly, you're really becoming like an executor over here. My man Yo is the goated mod. Because executor knows what annoys me before I even see it. But we're starting to get in sync as well. Very strong game 4 by Reynor. Really love it. Obviously, Golden Aura was the most fun game, the most exciting game of the bunch so far. Game 4 is the Reynor that I expected to show up. Started going, maybe a slow start to the series. Down 0-1, in a bit of trouble in game 2. But game 3 was pretty good. Game 4 was very good. Oh, it's that guy. Jesus. I went over his chat history. It's that one. Unbelievable. Bottom left side of Solaris, 1 map away from making it into the grand finals of Masters Coliseum 7 and locking up at the bare minimum $9,100. It is BASILISK Reynor. Top right side of Solaris, the man who had a great run through this bracket. Taking out Solar 4-0, defeating MaxPax 3-2. And of course defeating Dark earlier today 4-2 as well. Now needs to win 3 games in a row if he wants to stay alive in MC7. This is Dragon KaiZi Gaming's hero. The BASILISK boys look amazing as we are less than 2 weeks out of the Intel Extreme Masters in Poland. Katowice, not your world championship, but still an incredibly prestigious and big event. And of course, every StarCraft 2 player wants to shine on that stage. You were not aware of Reynor being at this level again? He's put in some real hard work, mate, over the last few weeks. He actually DM'd me yesterday. And he hit me with a screenshot of his ladder games. He got an account up to 7,000 MMR. Which is very difficult in this day and age. There was a time where the European ladder was a bit more active, so you had more higher ranked players. Right now, to get 7k, there is only really one way to do it. And that is consistently beat MaxPax, consistently beat Clem, and get a couple wins here and there over Serral. If you cannot do that, you're not going to be 7k. Reynor did get 7,000 MMR yesterday. When is the World Championship? It has not officially been announced yet. But I've heard from a little bird that announcement should be coming real soon. So soon you guys will know where the World Championships of StarCraft 2 are going to be played in the year 2024. Some people believe that we are going to the Maldives. I heard Miami. I heard Vegas, Macau. Some people think we might go to Seoul, South Korea. Others think we might go somewhere else. Only time will tell, guys. I watched the VOD this morning, Jeremy. I was so into it yesterday, mate. I thought it was super fun. Incredibly fun stream. But then at one point, he started losing, obviously. And then he loaded into a game on El Sione, and I saw he was playing a 5.7k Zerg. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is where I draw the line. Cell's gonna do his best for 15 minutes, and he's gonna get absolutely blasted. So, I'm going to bed, and I'll watch the rest of the VOD tomorrow morning. First adept chase to the other side of the map. Great block there, by the way, with the probe. The probe was blocking the drone from morphing into a hatchery, and that allowed the adept to show up in time and get a couple of shots off. So well done by her0. Very cute. Nice start. Seoul would be sick. Krefeld, Germany, perhaps. Absolutely, mate. Won't it be in Riyadh? I guess that's a possibility as well. If I could wish a destination, what would it be? If I could choose any place on Earth, honestly, I think I would go for Vegas. But then I would go for a very nice location in Vegas, you know. I'm not talking off the strip in some ghetto Motel 67. No, you know, in the Bellagio, something like that. Or in the Sphere. Oh yeah, absolutely. The Sphere, baby. No, not the Wind. The fucking Sphere. Let's be honest. That would actually be the coolest thing on this entire planet. But yeah, we're gonna need millions and millions and millions of dollars to make that happen. No. Nothing would be better than the Sphere. 100%. Yeah. That would be insane. Imagine the Heart of the Swarm, Legacy of the Void, cinematic trailers run on the Sphere all weekend long on the outside. If I was a billionaire, I'd make it happen, guys, but not happening. Raider Stadium. I think the Sphere is perfect. Nice start here for her0, guys. Obviously getting 6 drones. We're going to shade out with a couple of adepts as well. Oracle still alive, looking pretty good here in game 5. That's the kind of start that her0 is looking for, as he's now going to try to make some magic happen with 4 adepts and double Oracle. Reynor is going to try to position his units correctly in a defensive way. her0 cancels that shade. A little bit like max packs here, as you have a few regular adepts, no resonating glaives, and then we have triple Oracle, 2 Oracles together, 1 Oracle by itself. But Reynor has played a lot of games against max packs over the last few weeks. Observer is not showing us the Oracle dive in the natural. 2 more drones. Not bad by her0, guys. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed how he has maneuvered his way around these first 5.5 minutes. Oracle could go for drones here. Queens have moved out of position. They were there for a while. Oracle will go for drones. Reynor is very upset, so he's attacking his own spawning pool. If Reynor kills his own spawning pool, I'm gonna eat his shoe. There's no way that Reynor is gonna kill his own spawning pool. Thank the Lord that there was only 3 Zerglings, guys. Whoosh, one more time, and I will time you out. Nobody asked, mate. As much as you may hate certain countries, there are other people who hate your country that much. And we are not going to turn this into a channel where everybody can just talk about how much they hate a certain place. I'm not interested. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. If you really care about it, keep it to yourself. Spread it in the Discord. Twitter is a great place for it, man. Not here. I am sure that the Twitter universe is incredibly curious about your takes. Oracles dive into the triangle and kill 4 drones. Shout out to PUQEPY. Tough name. Perfect game, by the way, by her0 so far. her0 has not lost a single country so far. A single country. A single worker. There we go. Focus back, guys. It's been a very beautiful game here by Dragon KaiZi Gaming's her0 from the very beginning till the end. The probe blocking the hatch, the adept follow-up, the oracle follow-up. Now we got a whole bunch of stalkers with blink, and Reynor already shook his head a little bit. He knows it just has not really been it, and I don't even know if her0 has lost a single unit yet. Don't lose the observer, because that would be terrifying. As we blink forward, 1 or 2 stalkers are going to go down here, but her0 does not really seem to care. This has got everything, man. It's been an incredibly strong game by her0. As I gave Reynor a lot of props for the strongest game of the series so far on El Cyane. I think her0 has been magnificent here in game 5. As a couple of drones and links will not be enough. I mean, let's just go back into this game for a split second, guys, and look at what the observer showed us around the 7-minute mark. When was it? What a game. What a sick game 5 by her0, showing us that this series is far from over. I think it was here somewhere, right? 7 minutes and 2 seconds into the game. her0 killed 14 drones, a Zergling, 2 overlords and a queen, and lost absolutely nothing. Just a picture-perfect game by her0, showing us that this series is far from over. Reynor can have an absolutely magnificent game 4 on Alcyone. And her0 says, alright mate, I'm impressed, but let me show you what I'm made of. And basically does everything right from the very beginning till the very end on Solaris to send us into game 6. Why didn't Reynor build spores? Well, I'm sure that he had some spores, but he was obviously relying on the queens. And he was trying to have excellent queen movement. It is a dance of execution, guys, and there are games where Reynor is going to dance a little bit better and more on the beat than her0. And there are going to be moments where her0 is going to be a little bit sharper than Reynor. And we gave her0 some props for that first game, but I think this game, game 5, that was actually an incredibly good game. I would even say that this was the best game of the day. And that includes the 4 wins he had over Dark. And that means that this boy knows that he's not quite there yet. Representing BASILISK in the bottom left side, or bottom right side of Oceanborn, it is Reynor still enjoying a 3-2 lead in the lower bracket final, as he's gonna duke it out with Dragon KaiZi Gaming's her0 in the top left side. The grand final is not today, it will be played tomorrow, 12 p.m. and noon, 6 a.m. on the East Coast, 3 a.m. on the West Coast, 1 a.m. if you live in Hawaii. That is where the grand final will take place. Reynor or her0 is going to duke it out with Serral in a best of 9. So did Dark get signed yet? No news about that. I expect some news to come out in regards to Dark in the next few days. There's also a chance that he's just chilling. If he knows that he can still stick around a bit longer and he can go to Katowice and he is able to go to the World Championships of StarCraft 2, wherever those may be. Maybe he's just waiting and he's exploring that free market. There was a day and age where I would say that that's obviously not very wise, because there are not too many teams interested in picking up StarCraft 2 players, but that is not the case anymore. I've had multiple meetings with different esports orgs over the last few weeks that are interested in entering StarCraft 2 again, and that we're asking how things are looking, how things are going, who's relevant, who's good, who's bad. And obviously I am incredibly happy with BASILISK. I'm not gonna go anywhere, but if I can help any other team sign some StarCraft players, do good for the scene, I will always do it. So maybe Dark is just chilling and he's waiting to see what's possible. Didn't Harston once eat his shoe? I don't know if it was Harston. I believe that No Regret had to eat his shoe. Or was it Zhuge-Liang? One of the two. Somebody had to eat his shoe. And then I believe that they settled for a chocolate shoe. Harston ate a chocolate shoe? Okay, I didn't see it, but... Alright. Wasn't that Lambo? Everybody ate his shoe, guys. You guys may not even be aware of it, but everybody ate a shoe. Chiefs or Ravens tomorrow? I think it's very tough, man. Incredibly tough. I don't know. On one hand, I want to say the Ravens just because they have looked great lately, but Mahomes just also seems to be an absolute legend. And every single time you think that they don't look that great because they lost a couple of games in the regular season, he just peaks in the playoffs. A true 50-50 if you ask me. We have one slow Zergling running into the natural. The her0 forgot the warp gate upgrade. Well, very often Protoss players do delay it a little bit to get quicker stargates out, and maybe once in a while they come up with a different variation where they feel they don't need warp gate that early, and it's more about queuing up another adept, chrono boosting out probes, getting an oracle. It's still on the way. It's not going to be mega late. Maybe it's a bit later than what it should be, but I think it's okay. Reynor, as we said before, is not the kind of Zerg to make a crazy amount of units early very often. So having Warp Gate a few seconds later shouldn't really have a big impact on this game. Was it on the 30 gas? Yeah? I mean, it could be a mistake, right? Not saying it's not. I'm just saying that there are moments where it's done on purpose. There are many games where people don't get Warp Gate at all. For the longest time, I was considered crazy not getting Warp Gate in every game. These days, in a lot of the PvPs, Phoenix against Phoenix, you don't see Warp Gate. That Oracle is very low in HP. But it is going to live. Reynor knows that he needs to clean things up, as he had a fantastic game 4, but that previous game, it was all hero. Reynor is going to do a little bit better. The link movement is good. One of the adepts is going to get picked off. The second one is very low in HP. That one is going to get picked off as well. So 2 out of 3 adepts fall, and that's just going to make Reynor's life easier in dealing with these oracles. Because if your full focus can be on dealing with oracles, it is obviously a lot more doable than when you have to worry about adepts on the edge of creep or adepts shading into your base and cancelling the shade. So far so good for the Italian Stallion. This hero does wants to free up that one oracle. For the first months of Wings of Liberty, I never got Warp Gate because I thought it sucked. You'd lose the ability to queue units. I am a very stubborn video gamer, as this game is slowing down a tiny bit. And I never, in the beginning, I never want to read stuff. I don't want to go through campaigns. I just want to play multiplayer and play immediately. And I do remember when I was playing a bit of Wings of Liberty beta, that I got incredibly annoyed when I saw units just like appear from a light beam. I was like, man, this is annoying. Like, what are they doing? And I was just doing it the old-fashioned way, building units out of my gateways. And I honestly lost like 10 plus games until I had the courage to ask Naniwa, who I was talking a lot with back then. I was like, hey man, like, sometimes when I play PvP, all of a sudden units just appear from a beam. And Naniwa was like, well, yeah. I was like, what is it? He's like, Warp Gate? I was like, how do I get it? He's like, cybernetics core? He's like, do you know anything at all? I was like, no. Then I went back to the leather and then I also tried to do it. I was like, oh, this is nice. No, I'm very stubborn. The stasis trap, that's a big old stasis trap, guys, in the triangle of Reynor. Queen gets stuck, a lot of drones get stuck. Reynor getting ping advantage or what? That is a great way to ask a question. Like, you had 2 options. Question number 1, be like, hey Roddy, do you know anything on how the servers are determined? Option number 2, is Reynor getting ping advantage or what? You decided to go for option number 2. The way that servers are decided is the following. Whenever it's a Korean player against a European player, there are 2 servers that they play on. As we have the oracles, by the way, making... Ooh, if Hero was a bit sharper there, I think he could have activated Pulse Beam, but he doesn't. The way that it works is that US West is better for Koreans, US Central is better for Europeans. Game 1 is on West, Game 2 is on Central, Game 3 is on West, Game 4 is on Central, Game 5 is on West, Game 6 is on Central, and Game 7 would be on West. That is how it works. Great defense here by Reynor, as he's got Queens, he's got Roaches, he's got Lynx. So in a potential 4 out of 7 games, the Koreans are going to have a better ping than the Europeans. In 3 out of 7 games, the Europeans have a bigger advantage than the Koreans have on their home server. It is the most fair way to do it. That's the way they always do it. Players have peace with it. We have peace with it. And if I would have had 1 sub for every single time I had this speech, I would be as popular as Pokimane. Unfortunately, I am not. Sucks. But one day. 2 oracles dive in, they grab 2 drones and they will disengage. Hero keeps them alive. Overall, very sexy defense though by Reynor in that 3rd base. Just kind of felt that he had the right amount of everything. Good engagement. Good movement. Well done. Weird question, where's the US Central server located? If you know, it's not that weird of a question. I believe it's in Illinois, Chicago. But I'm not 100% certain about that. But I believe that it is like... It's not actually central as in like, is it in Oklahoma? No. I believe it is somewhere around Illinois, Indiana, something like that. Someone might know in the chat, but I believe that I've asked once. And I think that's the answer that I got. Thank you to the Anonymous sub-gifter. Welcome, Gunsis. As all hell is about to break loose over here. If Reynor wins, this day is over. Reynor will advance into the grand finals of the Masters Coliseum. Hero is going to go for Rico and has Rico 4 Archons and an Immortal. That is good enough. Careful with your Oracles here, Hero. Both players working with 85 workers exactly. Funny to see. 10 minutes in, Hive is done, Adreno Glance is well on his way, +2 melee is about to finish up. And I think in general, Reynor likes these kind of games. But Hero showed us on Golden Aura that he's obviously very capable of playing late game. And Reynor has definitely lost a few late game games where the Protoss is not behind entering the later stages of the game. But they can get a strong army, so... Everything to play for here in Game 6. Will it be an all Basilisk ZVZ final? Or is Hero's magical run just going to continue and never stop? Couple of Banelings got found. Reynor has beautiful army rotation in the center of the map. He shows something in the top right that's almost like a feint. And then he goes for it in that center base. Not sure about that circling attack into the Archons and cannons and batteries. But apparently Lings are that good. What the hell? They killed both of the Archons? That's crazy. I would have loved to see how that fight went. So in the end, Reynor gets 26 pros. Hero does have a pretty strong army left over. A couple of Roaches and Ravages ran into a leftover Stasis Frappy from the mid-game. As the 2 Oracles are now battling the Queens on the right side of our screen. And that is not the fight, Hero. Why are you doing it like that? I mean, maybe he doesn't think it... Oh, that's a slow warping as well on a couple of these High Templars. There's so much happening. Lings are going to run into the natural main. Hero does very casually take out one of the 5 bases of Reynor. But Reynor's got so many Banelings. So many Banelings on creep. Is that going to be good enough? The Storms are quite sexy though. One of the Archons has disappeared. The other one's still going strong. Lings in the main are good. More Lings picking up reinforcements as the Archon dies. The High Templar dies. This is it. Hero knows that he basically needs to win with his army right here and right now. And the longer it goes on, the less likely I think that is going to be the case. What he can also do is just kill that base and then retreat. But Hero is a warrior. Hero is a fighter. Reynor's got, I think, a greater spy that's done, but I don't think we can really use it right now. He's going to fire up a Hive as well. 3 bases is looking very dire for Reynor. He does not want to lose this base, but there's nothing he can really do about it. Couple of Banelings lead the charge. Does grab an Archon, does grab an Immortal or 2. Maybe one more Archon here. As we're now going to battle Roaches, Ravages, Queens against this many Archons and Immortals. Reynor is ahead in supply, but he's a 3-base Zerg. Honestly, I really think that Hero could have gone back if he wanted to, but Hero does not care. He believes so much in these Archons and these Immortals that he will just keep on going. You can't really blame him. 4 bases left on Hero's side of the map. He may only be on 54 workers, but that's okay. He can still saturate the middle line. Reynor is in trouble here. Well done by Hero, man. Incredibly well done. The Warp Prism is going to warp in. A few more High Templars. That warping gets denied. Well done.
Denied.
But all that Reynor has left is a couple of Ravages, and that is not going to be good enough. GG gets called. We are getting a Game 7, baby. Hero sends it to Game 7. After winning on Oceanborn, Reynor had Hive Tech, had his good upgrades on the way, had 5 bases, tried to make magic happen with some Ling Bane Chaos, but Hero kept a lot of his key units alive and went for a devastating counterattack. The rubber match. We're going all the way, baby. I'm going to go ahead and take a very tiny break. And after that, I'll be back. Game 7 coming up. See you soon. Alright. They are ready. If they are ready, I am ready. Here we go. It will all come down to a best of 1 on Site Delta. Can we get some Game 7 hype in the chat? Top left side of Site Delta, we took a little look at the main base of Dragon KaiZi Gaming's Hero. In the bottom right side, we are looking at the main base of the man that's representing Basilisk. It is Reynor, the Italian Zerg. the world champ of the year of 2021. The man who made it into the finals of BlizzCon 2019. 1 game as 8. Obviously made it to the finals of Katowice 2022 as well. her0 made it into the semi-finals of IEM Katowice 2023. But he went up against the normal man. As they are giving us some new graphics that I am not aware of. But and Sturm got not what I said. And I find it kind of annoying when you do those things. You can go back in the VOD. But I said, will it be the BASILISK boys duking it out? Or are we going to see a best of 9 PVZ? That's what I said. So, if you want to be edgy, please be correct. If you're not correct, don't be edgy. May the better player get to enjoy a best of 9 against Serral. I think that we all win regardless, right? If Reynor wins, I think it's going to be an amazing series, and I think Reynor will do a lot better than he ended up doing in the upper bracket final, where Serral did get a 4-0 victory. I believe that it would be a lot closer tomorrow. And if her0 wins, we have a Protoss in the grand finals of a massive tournament. Even if it's online, I think it absolutely counts. And that's not something we get to see all that often. Yep, tomorrow it's a best of 9. Today it is a best of 7. The entire lower bracket has been best of 7. Upper bracket has been best of 5 until the upper bracket final. That was a best of 7. Tomorrow it will be a best of 9 to crown a champ. Well, we had enough mirrors in the group stage. I don't think we had a crazy amount of mirrors in the group stage. We had 4 mirrors in the quarterfinals. The first day of the playoffs was indeed all mirror. It was ZVZ, ZVZ, PvP and TVT. I think the group stage obviously had some mirrors, but I wouldn't say a crazy amount. It's the quarterfinals that was nothing but mirrors. It's okay, mate. It happens. Yeah, well, that will not happen. Kindness change, because we also covered that. I know obviously not all of you guys can watch every single hour of the broadcast, and that's okay. But the rules of this tournament are different than the rules of ESL tournaments. In ESL tournaments, you are allowed to swap your race in the middle of a best of 3 or a best of 5. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can swap on the final second of the countdown. In this tournament, if you play Zerg in the first game, you have to play Zerg in all 9 games. If you play Protoss in the first game, you have to play Protoss in all 9 games. Different tournament organizers will have a different rulebook. And obviously this is not an ESL tournament, so they are allowed to do things different. And that's the way that they do things over here. Servus, no dive, no life. A long time no see. Thank you for stopping by. I hope life is good. Can see Reynor going Protoss only against Serral. No, that's not going to happen. Reynor would probably play Protoss on RotterdaM. Maybe even on Golden Aura, if he was allowed to. But he's not going to do it in all 9 games. But we can talk about a potential Reynor against Serral all we want. You can't count out her0. her0 has played an absolutely stunning playoff so far. 4-0ing Solar, 3-2 Max Packs, 4-2 against Dark. And he has sent it to the rubber match here against Reynor, which is incredibly impressive. So I don't think we need to speculate too much about what Reynor could and could not do. And let's just see who brings it home here in Game 7. A Void Ray, an Oracle, we have a Twilight Council and a Forge being warped in over at home. I think it could be the Zealots, guys, and it is going to be the Zealots. Reynor obviously has seen those games. Reynor has seen a lot of games of her0 in the playoffs. Let's hope, unlike Dark, he will be ready for the first wave. Now, even if you're ready for the first wave, that does not guarantee victory. What does guarantee defeat is not being ready. Because Zealots with charge and +1 kill everything incredibly quick. But the WTL Observer is showing us that Reynor is going to drop a Roach Warren around the 5-minute mark. And that is obviously a Roach Warren that he absolutely needs. They could have maybe tried to do it with Banelings, but that is very hit or miss. There's a gas there, by the way, in the natural that is not actually being mined from. I wonder if that gas was taken when there was an Overlord in range of that gas. And her0's like, hey, I'm taking another gas. I'm going Stalkers, double Forge. If I were you, I wouldn't build any roaches. don't know if Reynor saw it. I feel like the observer didn't really show us that. We have 5 safety roaches on the production tab now. And if you love Reynor and you want to see Reynor advance into the grand finals, you'll be very happy to see those 5 roaches. Because if he does not start building roaches anytime soon, he could just straight up die. Reynor's 4th base, by the way, is going to be taken all the way in the bottom side of the map. That's kind of interesting. Big scout here by Reynor, guys. The Zerglings are going to give him the heads up that the Zealots have been wiped in and that the Zealots are coming. He already had some safety roaches and he's going to build nothing but roaches and Zerglings here. I feel that Reynor has a good setup to deal with this. But it obviously always all comes down to execution. Those roaches are a little bit far out, but the fact that they are already here makes a night and day difference. We covered that in game 1 against Dark. We covered it in game 2 against Dark. And you guys can see this is how it can look as well. This is really good for Reynor. But her0 is obviously showing us that he's very smart and incredibly good in this game. He is not just going to A-move with those Zealots and be like, well, I made them, they should fight, let's lose them. No. It is not going to be that simple. And he doesn't know yet about that hatchery that I pointed out. The 4th base of Reynor is on the left side of the main. It's very different. I think he's about to click all of these Zealots somewhere. It's going to be hard for these Zealots to get a lot done. Alright, he's thinking of going for the natural, but this is not the fight. her0, I just complimented you, mate, about not losing all of your Zealots for nothing. And he's still just going to go for it. Now, the Queens were tanking, so that means that the Queens are going to go down. And now the triple Oracle is going to show up. But I still think all that's left here in the end are the Oracles. A couple of Zealots have made it successfully in the natural. Reynor does need to rebuild these Queens, obviously ASAP, a lot of them. This went slightly better for her0 than I thought it would go. I don't know if I'm in love with it. Killing that many Queens is pretty big. Once again, another one. Reynor saves it though. A perfect example of saved by the bell. And shout out to Stegaphone for joining us for 37 months. Reynor is rebuilding these Queens. He's on 68 drones. We have a couple of small skirmishes going on. That one stray Void Ray has made it into the 4th base of Reynor. This is where maybe losing all those Queens earlier could be annoying. her0 is still building Oracles. And this is definitely starting to get a bit scary. Reynor says, alright, maybe it's my time to do something on the other side of the map. And what a game 7. The doors could be open. Thank you so much to TFT. The doors are open because it's her0 and he never puts his units on hold position. Now the Queens are going to battle 5 Oracles and a Void. I don't know about that. What I do know about are these Lings in the main base. That is big. her0 is going to recall a bunch of Stalkers. But there are Roaches cancelling the 4th. So both players are going to be able to take out the 4th base of the other guy. What an absolutely epic scenario here in Game 7. As now these Roaches are going to take out the Cyber Core. I think the shield battery could have healed it there, by the way. If Reynor loses all these Roaches, it does get a little bit painful. The good news is that at the moment her0 can only make Zealots. The bad news for Reynor is that her0's pretty good with Zealots. So a 3-base Zerg against a 3-base Protoss. That's normally something that sparks a lot of joy to Protoss players. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'll take that. Man, that's a big army. Oh boy, scary moments here for Reynor and all the Zerg fans in the chat, because that is a big old Protoss army. Reynor is going to try to buy time with Ravages. He had a miraculous victory on Golden Aura. This one would maybe be less miraculous, but this is not going to be easy. The Lings are leading the charge. It comes down to Queens, Roaches, and Ravages against Gateway units. These Oracles are starting to take a lot of damage. The Oracles are falling. The Stalkers are still in high numbers. Reynor needs Lings right now. After all the Zealots are done, Reynor needs Zerglings. The Queen's still battling. What a close fight. In the end, Reynor does successfully hold. That doesn't mean that he's there yet, but he holds. He stays alive. Woo. Whew. Scary. As that Void Ray is taking a little sneak peek on the right side, wondering if Reynor took that base. As we now have a few Infestors on the production tab as well. Spore Crawler gets a couple of hits off. Not enough to kill that Oracle. Zerglings find a Stalker. Shown up with his buddies, and that is going to be good enough. Reynor fires up a hive, guys. A 67 drone Zerg fires up a hive. I don't think as StarCraft 2 fans we could have really asked for a whole lot more than this series right here. 71 drones against 73 probes. Hero is down in supply, but it's got great upgrades. And has done a good job in dealing economic damage. This is sick. Actually sick. What a cool series, man. Reynor needs to be careful because he's not that rich, and throwing away units can be painful. Now, if we throw away units to kill Stalkers, it becomes less painful. The Banelings don't get a lot, but grabbing a few Stalkers here is obviously kind of good for Reynor. Dark Shrine is halfway done. It's an interesting and a funny moment to go for a Dark Shrine. We'll see if it comes into play in a big way or not. Hero's done a really good job in pushing back the creep, as his main army is gonna make it down to this side of the map. Needs to be careful because he could get fungled. I love that Void Ray on the hold position here, just chilling, and is gonna be able to activate Prismatic Alignment immediately. Reynor needs to make sure that he does not lose this hatch. Cancelling it is a bit painful, but that's okay. Do not lose it, and he won't lose it. Hive is done. Adrenal Gland's on the way, as Hero is gonna get a second Robo as he warps in 8 DTs. We're gonna morph all of them into Archons immediately. Yep, that is what it is. Why is he going for a Dark Shrine to warp in Archons over High Templars, Roddy? Because he's Hero, and he wants to do that. Maybe he feels that he has a nice mix between minerals and gas, and that this is a moment to use DTs instead of High Templars. Good defense there by Reynor. Whew. The Ultralisk Cavern is going to finish up. But obviously Hero is going to have an answer for these Ultras, guys. He's got double Robo Immortal production at the moment. And he's got a bunch of Archons already. He's got good upgrades. Stalkers have Blink. And I feel like it's anybody's game. I can see Hero win this game. I can see Reynor win this game. I feel often when Reynor plays this style, though, he is in a better spot than what he's currently in, to be completely honest. So it is far from looking great for Reynor, but it is Reynor. And he can win these kinds of games. We have a couple of links stuck in a stasis trappy, as Reynor is going to test the waters here, but I think he knows that running into those cannons and batteries and that well-positioned Protoss army is going to be hard. He drops the Spire. A great Spire would be absolutely fantastic against this army. But it is going to be so difficult for Reynor to casually make a bunch of Corruptors and then casually morph them into Brood Lords and then take a great fight. He knows that. Hero is... Immortals are actually going to get surrounded here. There is a shield battery nearby, and I feel like you could use battery overcharge here. That would really not be a bad thing, but is not going to use it. We'll lose an Immortal, lose an Archon, but obviously Reynor lost a lot of links there. Man, this is going to be an epic fight. I don't think we have any Vipers. Reynor is working on the Neural Parasite. What we do know is that he has some Infestors. But Blinding Cloud can have such a big impact on these fights. I'm definitely very concerned for the position that Reynor is in. But Reynor is capable of taking absolutely magical engagements and getting great value out of Zerg armies that you don't really expect it from. But this is such a fantastic anti-Ling, anti-Ultra army. 32 Banelings are morphing, but Hero says, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, as he drops a couple of force fields as well. The Fungo has activated all the barriers, by the way, on the Immortals. That's cool. But Reynor has dropped 25 supply before anything has even really happened here. He's going to remax on 30 Zerglings. Here come the Banelings. There's another Fungo lens. This is it, man. What an important fight and what an epic game. What a way to close out a best of 7, as the Ultras are trying to do their thing, but some of them have already gone down. The Ravagers are holding the line, but for how much longer, as the Stalkers are out in massive numbers. Reynor does have 44 Zerglings on the way, and these Lings are about to get +3 melee. There's only one Archon remaining, so it looked like Hero was winning. But Reynor, his reinforcements have shown up, and Reynor is still chasing down this army. He's gonna get the Archon. It's only Stalkers and Immortals left. Hero is going to retreat with only Stalkers and 2 Immortals, but what they did manage to do is obviously take out that base. The Observers, oh, the double kill!
Double kill.
That is insane. When is the last time you've ever seen that? I don't even know if I've ever seen that. Ravagers of Reynor, Corrosive Ball getting 2 Observers at once. Does not change the fact that Reynor lost the base, and Reynor's gonna have a very hard time maxing out. He's gonna make 6 Infestors. And oh my goodness, he has Neuroparasite. Guys, if her0 moves out without an observer after losing 2 observers, that will go down as the greatest observer snipe in history. Even bigger than the one of Hawk versus Naniwa on Shakura's Plateau at the home story of once upon a time, as these links get an absolutely fantastic wraparound. That's a lot of stalkers going down. Keep your eye on the production tab and let me know if her0 has an observer somewhere, because I don't think he has one right now, and he's not rebuilding one. And Reynor has like 7, how many infestors, guys? How many? He has Neuro. 7, 8 infestors? Oh my goodness, this can actually be the sickest ending ever. This can actually be the sickest ending ever. Okay, her0 is gonna make 2 observers. Crisis averted, guys. Crisis averted. So important that he's getting those observers. Because if he would not have them, all of his Archons and his Immortals could get New Ruled, and then just Mass Ling would absolutely wipe the floor with him. Wow. What an ending. As these 2 nerds tell Twitch chat, hey.
Are you not entertained?
I'm entertained. I am very entertained. her0's army is kind of all over the shop. He left a couple of units behind. +3 melee Zerglings are going to go for a counterattack. And battery overcharge is fantastic, guys. But it cannot keep your bases safe against +3 melee links with Adrenal Glands. The cannons die, the battery dies, 10 probes die. Holy smokes, I want more her0 Reynor in my life. Somebody asked me earlier, Roddy, you pumped? You hyped for Katowice? Imagine if we have these kinds of series and these kinds of games in front of a live audience in Poland. Wouldn't that be sick? Both players are maxed out. 1 observer goes down. That is very big. There is 1 more ops in the mix. The infestors are going to use their Neuro, but there is 1 more observer. But Neuroparasite is still going to come into play in a very big way. Reynor says all of them Immortals and all of them Archons belong to me. her0 retreats off creep. The links don't quite get the full surround, but what a fight that was, guys, for the Italian Stallion. So sick. What a series. Another observer does die. Links and Ultras put in the chase. The Archon will fall. The Immortals will fall. And I am truly starting to believe that he has done it again for the 2nd time in this best of 7. He looked like he was in so much trouble. He's not totally there yet. Needs to make sure that he too has detection, as I do believe there is a Dark Shrine, and fighting into cannons and batteries is difficult. The infestors are suddenly very exposed. Reynor has a lot of supply, but that supply is not quite here yet. 14 probes die. That's a slow warp in of Zealots. Very painful. And her0 is gonna battle. Does not want to give up on this base, and definitely does not want to give up on this base in the bottom left side. Can her0's superior, I want to say economy, but he just lost so many probes, so he doesn't really have a superior economy anymore. Keep him alive. What will keep him alive is sniping that Overseer, because that means that he can warp in some more DTs. But he is in serious trouble. He's down 46 supply, and he has lost all of his key, fancy, high-tech Protoss units. The Immortals died, the Archons died. Infestors are here one more time. As we have another Ling attack at the 3rd base. We are going to use battery overcharge, but that can only heal up units once they are done warping in. And most of those units died before they actually got warped in. And Reynor says, maybe this is it for me. As he uses Burrow, that's cute. DTs got warped in defensively, and Reynor says, alright, if you're invisible, I'm going to make my units invisible. And he will now on-burrow. He's going to take out that Zealot. He's going to take out this battery and can probably take care of some other units that have been warped in here. Another big fight in the bottom left side. This time around with a big supply advantage for the Italian Stallion as another Neuroparasite lands. And Reynor says, Immortals are pretty good. Can I have a couple of them? Would you mind, sir? And I'm pretty certain that her0 does mind. her0 is going to temporarily push this back. And he's doing whatever the hell he can with the Stalkers. Great target fire on those. I think Reynor shouldn't maybe fight in that choke point in the bottom left. But Reynor is trying to bait her0 to chase him. And every single time he chases, that's obviously where Reynor can turn around and fight. Reynor does not have a lot of income. It's important to keep in mind. Needs to be very cautious. Does land a sweet fungal. Lands a 2nd fungal, and a lot of the Stalkers are going to die. That 1 Immortal is now probably going to get surrounded. Great surround there by Reynor. showing us that he was too young for Warcraft 3, but he took some notes of how Happy and Grubby and Todd moved around their units. The Overseer did die though, so DTs have been warped in. It is 46 army supply against 26. Well, Reynor is going to make another Overseer. It is hard for Reynor to fight in range of those cannons and batteries in the bottom left side. Hero tilts his head back. He thinks like, maybe I'm dead. Well, you're almost dead, but not totally dead. Because it's not like Reynor is very rich. Reynor is going to get his hands on that base though, and that's going to make Reynor's economy a whole lot better. Hero knows that he needs a little miracle. Needs to maybe snipe the Overseers again, get some value out of DPs, dodge some fungals. It is going to be hard. I think you have to give up on this base for a little bit, Hero, if you want to stay alive. The fungals do connect on the probes and a couple of the stalkers, so those units will die. Reynor is going to take control of the Nexus here in the bottom left side. 115 supply against 73. Truly epic best of 7, man. I actually think it was gonna live, but then it moved and it died. As another observer will fall to Corrosive Ball. Only one Ultra is remaining, but that Ultra has got some of that Scandinavian healthcare, baby. As Queens are on the edge of creep, dropping Transfuse after Transfuse. And it's gonna stay alive. 101 against 69. There's an observer here in the mix. Nice job by Stalkers. Gunning down an Ultra is big. Reynor is on 99 supply. He's probably pretty terrified. Like, if you're Reynor right now, you don't know that this game is like close to being over. You don't even know, I think, if you're winning or not. Because everywhere he looks, Hero is still warping in units. Got an answer for some stuff. It is so mega close. One bad fight in range of cannons and batteries, and it is all over. Even losing links like that could start adding up. Reynor's got 0 gas income right now, guys. Absolutely 0. He is going to take an extractor in the bottom side of the map, and that's going to give him a tiny bit of gas. But at the moment, there's only one unit that Reynor can build, and that's the Zergling. Pretty good unit, by the way. Nothing wrong with that, but... the longer this game goes on, the more you would like a different unit. An absolutely epic series. Tiny Baneling run by bottom left side. Baneling run by WTO Observer. Why don't you show us those Banes? Because they didn't kill anything, but he tried. I had a feeling we saw a few Banelings trying to make it into the mineral line in the bottom left side. There were obviously cannons nearby. 3 more Banelings are morphing. I'm not sure why, but... Hero is starting to probe up. But he did lose that base at... yeah, what clock is that, guys? 8 o'clock? I think another tiny Baneling run by in the bottom left side. An attempt at least, but... Hero is paying attention. He's got an answer. There you go. There are the Banelings, and there's the probe pool in the top left. Alright. Game is slowing down a little bit. This is legitimately one of the coolest best of 7s that I can remember. A 25-minute game on side Delta. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. Obviously, tomorrow we'll be back. Don't forget, tomorrow the grand finals of this tournament are played. If you don't follow the channel, make sure to follow it so you see that I'm live. I believe that's very important to mention when you do my job. It will start at noon European time, 6 a.m. on the East Coast, 3 a.m. No, yes, 6 a.m. on the East Coast, 3 a.m. on the West Coast, 1 a.m. for the diehards in Honolulu. 11 a.m. if you live in the UK. 1 p.m. if you live in Finland. And one of the guys that will be playing tomorrow does live in Finland. Cannot believe that after all the chaos and all the close, nail-biting battles we had of a very scrappy and low economy, we now see Broodlords and Storm on the production tab. Isn't that crazy, guys? Who ever thought we were going to get there? But Reynor has taken control of another base. I think Reynor just realized that fighting in range of those cannons and maybe a battery in the bottom left and the immediate reinforcements was too difficult. And that's where the Stalkers can shine like no tomorrow. So Reynor took out this base, took out a lot of probes and says, alright, now I can slow down a little. And he's doing his best. I will double check. was not correct. I was correct. You are incorrect. Thank you, VLC. You let him know, mate. I was right. I know the quality goes worse from time to time, guys, but there is nothing we can do. I don't think this has really hindered our excitement today, right? And our joy. As a couple of big storms land and a lot of Zerglings do hit the floor. Now there is a tiny opening for these +3 melee Zerglings to get on top of a few more probes. Obviously we can burrow. Are there any observers nearby? Yes, there is. Shouldn't Reynor rebuild a few more drones? I think that Reynor has fully saturated the base at 3 and the base at 2 o'clock. So I'm sure that Reynor would love maybe more drones, but right now he can't put them anywhere. Main base mined out, natural mined out, third base mined out, fourth base mined out. So, like, what are you gonna build drones for if you don't have a hatchery? You guys can see it's a fully saturated base. Ooh, sniping a DT is big. How was Reynor chased down? Man, Hero is up 20 supply at the moment. That's pretty wild, man. That is actually pretty wild. Who could have thought a long time ago that Hero would be the one who's gonna take a 20 supply lead? He was on ultra wobbly legs. I think he was seeing stars left and right. He hung in there and he now has a supply lead. But Reynor obviously does have a better army than he's ever had before. We've got Ultras, we've got Broodlords. Cancel. Does cancel that one immediately. So Hero has more supply, but Reynor has more advanced units. A lot of that supply is in Zealots, and Zealots are great in some scenarios. Once you have to deal with this many Broodlords, as a Hero is now basically seeing the equivalent of Carrier has arrived, but then the Zerg version of it. A couple of storms have landed. The Broodlords are taking damage from these storms, but the Broodlings will do their thing. And that base, guys, that Hero just killed is really not that important of a base. Still has a lot of supply left over though. And he's gonna go for a recall, as a couple of units have been recalled. Reynor looks at that and says, I probably should not stick around. Every Ultra counts, every Zergling counts. 112 army supply against 139, but I do favor the... Okay, Reynor now makes more Ultras, more Corruptus. I do think that Reynor's army is a bit better. But Hero is a mad scientist, and he has given us one of the best Protoss runs we've seen in a massive international online event in quite some time. And we would be silly if we count him out there just because he's got a few more basic units. He has the supply lead, he's got Storm, he's got Archons, he's got Stalkers, and he's gonna take control of that base in the top right side. And unlike that previous base, that is an important one for Reynor. Reynor says, alright, you take out my base, I'll take out yours. As we have a fungal landing on a couple of the Stalkers, this could be it, because Hero cannot recall. He has already recalled to his triangle. So he realized that he's going to lose those bases in the bottom left side. Broodlords are trying to do their thing, but they are not as good as they once upon a time were. And Hero just has storms for days. Just when you think this game cannot get any better, it is going to get better. And it feels like it's not going to slow down anytime soon, but I do think it is so difficult for this Protoss army to battle Broodlords. Incredibly difficult. 124 army supply right now for Reynor against the 117 of Hero, who's got a lot of units in the bottom left side, keeping that base safe. A High Templar dies. A second High Templar is probably going to fall. Yes, it is. Maybe even a third one. Oh, land the Storm. Storm is good. Losing all of the High Templars is not good. Letting Stalkers get surrounded by Zerglings and Archon getting surrounded by Zerglings is not good either. After 30 minutes, we are 136 supply each. But I am again feeling that this is starting to look like it is going to go Reynor's way. But Hero is still mining. The only problem though is, guys, that even that bottom left side base, I don't think there is that much money left. Because you can't forget that Hero lost that center base a lot earlier than he lost the bottom left. He never lost the bottom left. So Hero only has 400 minerals a minute income. That is less than one base. We're going to get some proper long distance mining. The Lings are going to show up for the 27th time in the triangle. So Reynor is long distance mining. Hero is long distance mining. And probably still has like 4 mineral patches in the bottom left. This is where the observer should really show us the base in the bottom left. Gordon says Hero wins. I think some of you guys may think Hero wins. Some of you guys may think Reynor wins. I think Reynor is winning. I think Reynor's army is better. And as long as nothing terrifying... Ooh, losing drones here would be painful, by the way. He only has 19. And 19 drones becomes a 17 drones. You can look at 43 probes and think like, wow, Hero's doing great. But 43 probes only means something if they're actually saturated, if they're actually on the base. As the quality is going back to 100 pixels, and I'm gonna do my absolute best. I mean, this long distance mining should give Reynor a very good indicator that Hero is as broke as he is. This is risky, by the way, though, fighting here. I don't think Reynor should be here. Reynor, his base in the top right, has way more resources left than Hero's base. As Hero has recalled a bunch of his army, and he's gonna go for that base in the top right. That would be big. If Hero snipes this base in the top right, how could you possibly say Reynor is winning? Well, okay, if the Broodlords get sniped, obviously that's different. Because Reynor had a better army, and they are both very broke. But yeah, if 5 Broodlords get sniped like this, obviously it is not gonna go Reynor's way. But now Hero is fighting with only half of his army. Reynor is going to lose another base, and that is a very important base, and that means that he is broke. 88 supply for Reynor, a couple of infestors, but losing like half of the Broodlords is so incredibly painful. Losing the Broodlords like that is very, very, very painful. Reynor is going to land a Fongo. He's going to kill an Archon and a couple of Stalkers, but he needs to basically get Hero out of this game. Hero is setting up the flank. The Ultras, I think, are going to melt against that many Immortals. 101 army supply against 88. But the cannons and the batteries are a problem. Reynor is down to 9 drones, no income. How much anti-air is there left on the side of Hero? It's enough. If the positioning of the Stalkers and the Archons and Templars is good, it is enough. Ooh, Observer is important. Reynor is thinking of some neuroparasites. Needs to be very careful. The Stalkers are going to blink forward. This is it. Your game-deciding fight to determine who is going to meet the great Jonas Atala tomorrow. Reynor takes his hands off the keyboard as the Broodlords have died, and he knows that he does not have enough anymore. Hero wins an absolutely magical Game 7 of Site Delta, as both players were working with pennies. Both players were forced to long distance mine. We've got a Protoss in the grand finals of the Masters Coliseum. And Mana says a standing ovation for both. And I think that is the absolute best way to put it. What a game. What a series. What a finale. Hero makes it into the grand finals, guys. And we'll see more of him tomorrow, as he's going to duke it out with Serral in a best of 9. A Site Delta Game 7 for the ages. With so many twists, so many turns. Moments where it looked great for Hero, moments where it looked great for Reynor. Looked great for Hero, looked great for Reynor. In the end, it is Hero who at one point was down to like, what, 60-something supply? Started leaning back in his chair a little bit as well. Started tilting his head, thinking that this is it. That it was not gonna go his way. Crazy, man. Hero gives us a Protoss player in the grand finals, and what a run it has been. 4-0 Solar, 4-2 Dark, and 4-3 versus Reynor. And that means that you guys can embrace for an epic best of 9 tomorrow. At least I hope it is going to be epic. Between the great Finnish phenom, Jonas Otala, and Hero. And that will do it for this day of video games. Let's go back to a few more moments, guys. A few more moments of that final game. I mean, that final game had too many epic things to show. There was one point where we obviously had those great neuros and whatnot. Like at this point, guys, it's 119 supply against 66. Isn't that crazy? This is where Hero started leaning back in his chair a little bit. This is where Hero started twisting his head, knowing that this was probably not going to go his way. What a comeback. Those cannons in the bottom left side, it truly kept him alive just forever. Another sick Fongo landed, 101 against 61. The boy just refused to die, never said die. This was an unbelievable series, an unbelievable Game 7 in particular. And even in the end, where obviously Hero still had that bottom left side base. Like at this point, when it's like 122 army supply against 115. I like the Zerg army more than I like the Protoss army. Insane. Like this top right side base, I think this is kind of maybe where it started going wrong a little bit. Where Reynor is down in supply, but a lot of that is in workers. And if you look at Hero's base setup right now, right? Main base done. Third base done. Natural done. This base obviously completely mined out. So he only has the bottom left side for a little bit. Well, there's a couple mineral patches left. Okay, wait, here actually the observer. So in the bottom left there is, at 24 minutes, there's a lot of money left. At 24, we still have all 8. I think Reynor should have really defended the top right base here. I think moving out with the brutes and losing this base, I think was painful. And then obviously like the real ending moment. By the way, there's an observer on top of the Brute Lords. Kudos to Hero, by the way. He sees Reynor retreat. He sees the Brute Lords by itself, and he blinks forward immediately. And there was an era, guys, where Brute Lords would have absolutely shredded through those Stalkers. But this is not that era. Like right before this happened, with long distance mining, Hero has like 700-800 minerals a minute. But without it, it's like 500-600. Like basically one fully saturated base gives you 1600 minerals a minute. So if Reynor would have just chilled and defended the top right, but I think he was afraid that he would then get eliminated, right? Because obviously Hero's army is quick, Zealots are quick, Stalkers are quick. And if you lose your main, your natural, your triangle, then you're obviously afraid that Hero is going to re-expand and take the entire bottom left side of the map, like this base that's still fresh, or take the base in the top. And then Hero obviously still has all of his infrastructure, so he can build a much bigger army. So I think it's very difficult for Reynor to go all-out defense on the top right. This was obviously something that did not have happened. Insane game. Great tactical recall by Hero, man. To recall those Immortals and those Zealots to his own triangle. To split up the map like that and force Reynor to react quickly and turn around. Unreal series. Unreal Game 7. Hero is in the Grand Finals. Incredibly sick series. I loved it. I hope you guys loved it. And that's all I got. 62% of you guys thought that Reynor was going to win. I was in agreement with that. But Hero just keeps on doubting us, or keeps on proving the doubt is wrong. Keeps on making us look silly. The man defeats Solar, the man defeats Dark, and the man defeats Reynor in a truly epic series. Grand Finals are tomorrow in basically 18 hours from now. If you are here in 18 hours from now, you guys can watch Hero try to do the impossible, and that is take out the 4 best Zerg players on the planet in a row. Solar has fallen. Dark has fallen. Reynor has fallen. It's just the final boss that is remaining. Tomorrow, a best of 9. Serral versus Hero is going to be sick. I can't wait. You guys should be as excited as I am. And that's all I got, guys. Thank you for being here. I enjoyed the games a lot. I enjoyed some of our chat interactions. I'm just making sure that I won't misclick, because there were millions of channel points on the line. What about Rogue? That man ain't playing any video games. I'm gonna go ahead and chill a little bit. It is Saturday. That means there is a lot of football for me to watch and to enjoy. So I'm going to do that. Small chance that I'll be back later tonight with a late night stream, because I need to stream a few more hours in the evening. But we'll worry about that by the time we get to that.